Hello chaps and welcome back to the Ginger Boy channel. It's been a while. I've I just haven't made any videos in like a month I think. So I'm very sorry about that to all my very dedicated two fans out there. But um but yeah, I've got another conspiracy video for you today. Today it's about the Bermuda Triangle. So I think everyone's heard of the Bermuda Triangle. It's basically there's like a triangle of the Atlantic Ocean between like Miami and Bermuda and like the Caribbean. Um and it's a triangle and like basically it's a famous spot for things like ships and planes to go down. So between 1946 and 1991, over 100 ships and planes have disappeared in this area. Which that's actually a very big amount because this area is like it's like it's like a million square meters, which seems like a really big space. But I mean, if like the whole Atlantic Ocean's like a trillion square meters, so you know what I mean. It's quite a small area. Even Christopher Columbus in the 1400s noted that there was odd occurrences in this area, such as compasses not working and strange lights and fireballs. Yes, friggin' fireballs in the air. Now, I'm not gonna lie. Like he just sounds like he's tripping. Like, you know, he's probably sniffed some dodgy stuff. You know, some wacky backy. Because he's tripping, seeing some fireballs and lights through the air. Or as aliens. In 1918, USS Cyclops disappeared near Puerto Rico without any communication. Nobody on board made any distress signals, which shows that there was no panic over time. Because obviously, you know, if you're use your logic here, if you're going down on a ship like the Titanic and you're sinking, you're gonna scream and you're gonna like call some of your buddies on land, you know, like tell them you're sinking to come save you. But there's literally nothing, like no calls at all. USS Cyclops was never found. In 1948, a plane carrying 26 people again disappeared a couple of miles outside of Miami. Um, their last reported words was that they were 3 miles out of Miami over the Atlantic Ocean, and again the plane wreckage was never found. A Navy landing ship disappeared in 1951. 4 years later, in 1955, a life jacket belonging to this ship was found, even though that the ship wreckage was never found at the bottom of the ocean. In 1967, a yacht hit something and they called for help. This yacht was owned by like a rich guy. He was just a recreational yacht. Um, he did say that they weren't sinking, but he wanted the Coast Guard to come out and like tow them back. A flotation device was in this boat, which meant that it couldn't sink. So basically, there was like a pocket of air in the middle of a boat, so no matter, even if the boat was like filled up with water, it wouldn't fully sink. When the Coast Guard got there was no sign of anything, no sign of the boat, and this man and his ship was never found again. One of the most interesting cases of the Bermuda Triangle was when 5 bombers in 1945 flew over part of the Bermuda Triangle for a training mission. All planes were in perfect condition and they were tested and you know maintained before flight. None of the compasses were working once they got above the Bermuda Triangle, and none of their like equipment, all of their dials and that, they were just flipping out. One of the last messages was from one of the pilots, and some of his last words was, "We can't find West. West is another plane. Everything is wrong. We can't be sure of any direction. Everything looks strange, even the ocean." So like this guy, he's a trained pilot and an experienced pilot. He's flown over the seas many times. He's flown loads of times, and yet one of the things that stands out from his message is that everything looks strange, even the ocean. Now, obviously, strange could mean anything. Maybe it was. I think the conditions at this point was like fairly stormy. Now these bombers that they were flying, they're called the Iron Birds because they were known for their like durability. Like they were made to like fly through storms or something. Now this guy is still trained though. He's flown through storms before, yet he still thinks everything looks strange. And I think that does stand out. It is kind of like I want to know what he saw. Like, is it like I don't know. I don't know. What does he mean by strange? Is it like turn colour or like did it do a little dance or something? I don't know. I guess we'll never find out though, because he was never found. Now this pilot's last words was actually that they were completely lost, and during his radio call, I listened to it. It is quite panicky. You could hear the panic in his voice, and you know, he's experienced, so it's kind of dodgy. After reporting they were completely lost, the Navy sent out a rescue plane boat thing. You know, ones that can do both, pretty epic. And this rescue boat also went missing, which is you could find some humour in that, not gonna lie. But yeah, again, they were never found. The wreckage was never found. So that's like, there was 14 people in all 5 planes, and there was probably like 6 in this plane boat thing. So that's like 20 people that have just completely disappeared, with no signs of them going anywhere. When commenting on this situation at the time, the Navy, in the official report, commented that they can't even make a good guess as to what happened. So even the Navy, like trusted people, they're like, lads, I'm not gonna lie, no idea. It's pretty dodgy stuff's going on. I'm not gonna lie. So that's like 5 or 6 cases that have happened, but there's literally hundreds. Like there's over 100 between like the 50 years that I told you, like the last half of the 20th century. But there's literally so many, of like even like the 1700s. So there's a couple of theories I'm going to take you through. So the Bermuda Triangle is known for tornadoes and like really bad weather and friggin' water spouts. So like, you know, tornadoes, they come down from the clouds, the heavens above. Yeah, well, water spouts come up from the sea. What do you mean? I literally only thought that was Sharknado. Or, you know, like how? How? And it's an upside down tornado. That's literally death. That is death. This area is also where you can find very deep trenches under the ocean. Some of the deepest parts across the whole world. I think the Mariana Trench is somewhere near the Bermuda Triangle. I'm not sure if it's in it, but obviously this is really dangerous. All of these things, it's just really dangerous for like planes and ships, like because it's really choppy around this area as well. But I mean, I'm sorry, these planes and ships just disappeared without anyone saying anything. Like if a water tornado just came up and destroyed a ship, unless it like threw it, like picked it up and threw it and vaporized or something, like the people on board are going to be able to contact someone. You know what I mean? Like it's not going to completely, like in a couple of seconds, just eliminate them from Earth. So theory number 2 is that the magnetic field of this area is the reason why you can't find these ships or planes. So around in the Bermuda Triangle, the magnetic north and the true north lines line up, which is quite rare. I'm no scientist, I'm not gonna lie, but I didn't even know that there was 2 norths, but apparently these 2 lines line up, which is really rare, and which could mess up the compasses and like their dials, because obviously there's 2 magnetic fields that the compass is trying to get to, so it's messing it up that way. There's also frequent storms and like with lightning that can mess up the magnetic fields even more, which could again, I don't know if that could destroy planes, probably not, but this is a good reason why the compasses and all the equipment fail, because magnets and that. And Christopher Columbus also said there was like balls of fireballs, you know, I've said that before, and the like in this area, I think like lightning and magnets or something. I'm not sure, but it can create balls of lightning and like throw it across the sky, which is that is God just destroying us. I'm sorry, but it is. So maybe Mr. Columbus wasn't tripping. He was just see this ball of lightning. Pretty scary. The third theory out there was aliens. Yes, aliens. Aliens abducted everyone. We're actually gonna die. So there's a US Navy base in the Bahamas linked to aquatic aliens and this base is called, or it's been nicknamed Underwater Area 51, which is mental. So there's literally in or really close to the Bermuda Triangle, they like look into aquatic aliens. I don't think that's the official term, because because they say that aliens don't exist. Fuck off. But yeah, and there's just dodgy stuff. Now, this, I believe in aliens. Maybe aliens didn't abduct them, but let's go through this. Like, where's the planes and the ships gone? Like, we know from the past, like the Titanic, if a ship goes down, you find the wreckage pretty easy. It's like, where have they gone? Like, I feel like a plane is flying in mid-air. What is that? think a fucking elephant just fell into my house. Like, I feel like planes were just flying through midair, and then some like Millennium Falcon looking ass just like flew above them, just absorbed them into the bottom. You know what I mean? Like, that's how abductions, like typical abduction. You know what I mean? Like aliens, like they exist, and they're doing stuff like this everywhere. I'm telling you. So it could be aliens. You know, they might want to do some tests on us. I don't know. I'm not an alien, so I'm not going to speak for them. But you know, in 2014, two passengers on a cruise ship say that they saw a UFO. Now it's a cruise ship. They were probably smoking some ganja and drinking a lot of the booze. So yeah, their 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 opinion of this matter can be pushed aside. Like, crazy theories don't stop there. The fourth theory is that all of these people and all of their ships and planes went to Atlantis. Yes, Atlantis. Now, Atlantis was first theorized by the Greek philosopher Plato, and that he theorized that there was a floating civilization that sank suddenly in this region, and due to their technology, this was like a really advanced civilization, and due to their technology, they were able to live underwater. So underwater somewhere, in these deep trenches, there's literally a civilization of underwater persons, where they prosper and they're still alive. So these cases where recent planes and boats disappear, they actually sink down to Atlantis and find themselves in Atlantis, or maybe the Atlanteans help them. You know, because think about it, lads. I think something like 90% of our ocean are undiscovered. Like, we literally have no idea what's in these oceans. There literally could be dinosaurs. Yeah, I know. Because 90% is just not, like, all the 10% we found. We just found fish, and we've stopped there. We've discovered more about the moon than our own ocean. Like, we've never gone down into these deep trenches right to the bottom. I don't think we've actually been to the bottom of the Mariana Trench, which is crazy. Like, there literally could be dinosaurs there, if you think about it. Because if this meteor killed all the dinosaurs on the surface, yeah, and it sent a shockwave, and it just obliterated them all, like, a massive whale dinosaur at the bottom of the Mariana Trench isn't even going to feel a little shake, is it? Is it? Like, you know what I mean? I don't understand how these water animals died. Like, surely these water dinosaurs are still alive. But I'm going off a bit there. Atlantis, yeah, it's in a trench, and all these people could have possibly just swam down there and survived, where they, you know, live in a sandy, like something that looks like Sandy's house. It's possible. It is. Now, the last theory, the fifth theory, is that there's a black hole. There's a wormhole in this area. Now, obviously, we all know what a wormhole is. If you don't, you're living under a rock. A wormhole is basically, so you go through it and you end up somewhere else. That's what happens in the movies. We have no idea what a black hole is in real life. You could just turn into dust. You could turn into. You could go to a different dimension where, like, you're living as a cheetah. I don't know. But yeah, basically they've gone to a different dimension by going through this wormhole. Now, a lot of people think this because again, these ships and these planes are just disappearing without any trace, which is unheard of. Like, I keep saying this, but there would be wreckage there, and you literally don't find wreckage in this area, so it's crazy. So there was a pilot flying a light aircraft around the Miami area over the Atlantic Ocean, and he says that he flew into an electrical fog. So it's like a fog with like sparks or something. I don't know. I wasn't there, but and he was flying blind for 3 minutes, which means you can't see anything because obviously there's fog. Now, after this 3 minutes was up, he was radioed by a control tower, telling him that he was over Miami. Now, he was confused because he should not have been over Miami at this point. He was a couple of miles out, and I think he flew from like Puerto Rico or something. So this journey from wherever he started from to Miami, he was flying to Miami. It should have been a 90-minute journey. Now, he got to Miami in 40 minutes, but for him it was only 3 minutes. You know, so he literally, now planes, you can't just put your foot down in a plane. Like, it's not like a car where you go 70 miles per hour and then 140 miles per hour. He literally just did double the speed. of this plane, which is impossible, you know. And this isn't just him saying, like, this is the control tower. So obviously they're like, what the fuck are you doing over Miami? Like, that's just not possible. Can I say, Miami's a really nice place. I've been to the airport there. Very nice. I like it. So a lot of scientists and people that looked into wormholes suggest, like, they say that wormholes could potentially, like, be a way that you can time travel in a way. So it kind of speeds up time, which shows that, which kind of proves this point because he, you know, time kind of sped up for him. Like in 3 minutes, he travelled a 90-minute journey, which, but it was obviously 40 minutes, but for him it was 3 minutes, which is crazy. A scientist called John Hutchinson claims that overlapping electromagnetic fields can make metals glow, or change form, or become distorted. So the magnetic fields just it makes everything like die basically. Um, which I think this is actually a really big factor as to why these ships just disappear. Because if like a hard metal ship just like passes through this overlap of magnetic fields, it just turns into magnum metal. No, that's not the right word. Molten metal. Is that the right word? I think so. I'm gonna go with that. Um, imagine that you're just flying or whatever, and slowly you just turn into custard or something. Well, that's mental. But I'm not surprised these planes disappeared. And this is science. Obviously, science isn't saying these planes disintegrated. But like, if these magnetic fields that overlap, which does happen, there is an overlap in magnetic fields at the Bermuda Triangle. So you know these planes could have just disappeared because of science. Now, other theorists and I think scientists as well, I'm not too sure, they say that overlapping magnetic fields could also potentially create black holes. Um, so obviously black holes are in outer space. Apparently they're like, one thing they have in common is that there's an overlap of magnetic fields. I'm not sure about this, I'm not a scientist again, so I don't want Neil deGrasse Tyson commenting down below. But yeah, that's kind of boring. I think it's better that I'd like to think that a boat just melted. I think that's pretty cool. Apart from everyone else inside the boat drowning, that's not too nice, but you know what I mean. Now comment down below which theory you think is best. There's about 5 theories that I said. Um, some more realistic than others. But realism doesn't really have an effect in this world anymore because, 2020 is it's a wild one.